Leif Erikson was born to Erik the Red, son of Thorvald Asvaldsson, who had migrated from Norway to Iceland after an altercation that led to his exile. Seeking new lands, Erik the Red later discovered Greenland. Accounts of these events are preserved in the Icelandic sagas. Oral traditions eventually recorded in manuscripts between the 13th and 14th centuries. The saga of Erik the Red describes Leif's journey around 999 when he left Greenland, served as a warrior under King Olaf Tryggvason in Norway, and was later dispatched to Greenland to spread Christianity. His return voyage was marked by an unintended discovery of a land abundant in salmon, vines, and wheat. Contrary to this account, the saga of the Greenlanders offers a more credible version, stating that Leif set sail due to reports from another Viking explorer, Herjolfsson, who had encountered an unfamiliar coast. This venture wasn't driven by conquest, but was an extension of the Norse tradition of adventurous exploration by seafarers. Leif embarked on an exploration where he encountered three lands: a flat stone land, likely Baffin Island, a land of forests, possibly Labrador, and Vinland, meaning meadowland, which is believed to be located in North America. The exact location of this discovery has been the topic of extensive debate, but evidence of grapevines points to a relatively southern site. After spending a year in Vinland, Leif returned to Greenland in 1001. Subsequent Viking expeditions followed. However, his brother's death by Native American arrows marked a turning point that gradually diminished interest in the new lands. Leif Erikson was described as a tall, strong man with an imposing appearance, astute and fair-minded. It seems he may have converted to Christianity, but his father, Erik the Red, showed reluctance in abandoning paganism, which was also true for most of Greenland's population. The remains of what might be Leif Erikson's skeleton were found near a modest church measuring just 3.5 by 2 meters. This discovery underscores the significance of Leif Erikson's role in the exploration and possible colonization of America, centuries before Columbus's arrival. After the death of King Olaf Tryggvason in 10,000, Bjarni Herjolfsson traveled from Greenland to Norway on a visit. There he met Earl Erik, who welcomed him warmly. Bjarni recounted his sightings of strange lands during this journey, but he was criticized for not exploring these territories further. Nonetheless, Bjarni became one of Earl Erik's officers and returned to Greenland the following summer. With exploratory talk in the air, Leif Erikson, from Brattahlid in Greenland, sought out Bjarni Herjolfsson and purchased a ship from him. He then assembled a crew of 35 men for an expedition. Leif initially sought his father Erik's leadership for the expedition, but was gently rebuffed by Erik, who felt that age had diminished his abilities to withstand the hardships of such a journey. Leif insisted that he would bring good fortune to the endeavor and convinced his father to let him lead. As they prepared to leave, an accident occurred when Erik's horse stumbled, causing him to fall and injure his foot. This incident led Erik to believe it was not meant for him to discover further lands. He returned home, while Leif proceeded to his ship with his companions, which included a man from the south named Tyrker. They equipped their vessel and set sail, first locating the land Bjarni Herjolfsson had previously seen. They anchored near the coast, launched a boat, and went ashore. Finding no grass and encountering vast glaciers, they concluded the land was of little value and dubbed it Helluland, land of flat stones. After this, Leif's crew put to sea again and discovered another land, which they named Markland, Forest Land, after observing dense woods. Continuing their voyage, Leif's crew discovered a third land. Upon approaching this new territory, they anchored, launched their boat, and landed. This land appeared level and densely wooded. The group noted wide stretches of white sand gradually sloping down to meet the sea. Leif named it Markland for its natural characteristics. So, hastening back to their ship due to the favorable weather, they set out again with a northeast wind into the open sea. After 2 days, they spotted land once more and navigated towards it. They reached an island north of the mainland, where they observed dew on the grass. When they tasted the dew, they found it incredibly sweet. Returning to their ship, they sailed through a sound between the island and a northern cape extending from the mainland. Following the coastline, they ventured west past this cape during low tide. The shallowness of the water led them to be stranded from the sea, but they eagerly proceeded ashore at a place where a river flowed out of a nearby lake. As the tide later rose beneath their ship, they utilized their boat to move it up the river and into the lake. Anchoring there, they brought ashore their sleeping furs in makeshift shelters before deciding to remain for the winter. Subsequently, they constructed substantial dwellings on this site. The crew observed that without any need for fodder, their livestock could comfortably endure the winter. There were no severe frosts, grass merely dried slightly. Daylight was more balanced than in Greenland or Iceland, with the sun rising above the horizon past noon until breakfast time on the shortest day. Once the houses were completed, Leif suggested to his crew that they explore this new land. He proposed dividing them into two groups. One would stay near the dwellings while the other ventured out. The explorers were instructed not to travel too far and to remain within reach of each other by evening. This practice continued for a period, with Leif sometimes leading the explorations and at other times remaining near the huts. Leif was described as a tall, robust individual with an imposing presence, demonstrating both intelligence and leadership qualities in guiding his crew through this unknown territory. That evening, it was discovered that one member of their party, Tyrker the Southerner, was missing. The news weighed heavily on Leif, as Tyrker had been a beloved part of their family for many years. Leif scolded his companions deeply and prepared to search for Tyrker with 12 others. However, after only traveling a short distance from the huts, Tyrker appeared and they welcomed him joyfully. Leif soon observed that Tyrker seemed in high spirits. Tyrker had a prominent forehead, roving eyes, and nondescript features. He was short and not particularly appealing, yet skilled in various crafts. Leif asked Tyrker why he had stayed back, to which Tyrker replied with a long discourse in German, making peculiar facial expressions that were difficult for the others to understand. Eventually, he communicated in Norse. "I have found vines and grapes." Leif responded, "Is that true, foster father?" And Tyrker reassured him, "Undoubtedly it is true. I was born where there is no lack of vines or grapes." That night, they rested, and the following morning Leif announced their next steps: to gather grapes or cut down vine branches each day. Leif directed his men to gather grapes or fell trees for cargo on their ship. The plan was agreed upon, and it is said that their ship's boat was filled with grapes. They prepared a cargo for the ship as spring approached, then set sail. Leif named this new land Vinland, based on its abundant grapevines. Afterward, they continued to sea, enjoying favorable winds until they spotted Greenland and its mountainous glaciers in the distance.